How do you feel about your edge room so far in camp?
Yeah, it's been awesome here at the start of camp. You know, I think you get to do so much stuff in the winter and spring from a schematic standpoint. And I think in the winter and spring and summer, you're always coaching the effort and attitude, but there's so much attention on that. And I think the thing that's been the most fun so far in camp is I feel like the guys are gaining confidence in the scheme and what they're supposed to do. So as coaches, we can spend more time on the how. And I think you probably felt that if you were watching practice today, and that's what makes it fun.
Just with Issa now being back, just what is that? Can you just talk about what that does to the defensive line, just how much of an impact that is?
Yeah, I think more so than the player is the person, like just his presence, his confidence, communicating, getting guys on the same page. Obviously, it's great to have him back as a player too, but I really think where you really feel Issa is with his presence.
When we talked earlier this summer, you told me about Edwin and just his pass rush ability. He's got a motor. Just what have you seen from him in camp so far?
Yeah, you know, the thing with Edwin, I think, is he is probably as natural an edge player, an edge rusher, a dropper as we have. Like, there might be guys who maybe have more natural physical tools, but I don't know that you're going to find a better pure football player than Edwin. So it's been nice to have him back out there. He's been dealing with some stuff, but it's been great to have him.
Bringing back an experienced guy, what have you seen out of Miles Capers in camp so far, taking his game to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm just happy to see him out here, you know, because haven't really been able to see him do a whole lot since I've been here in the winter and spring. But the thing with him is there is like this quiet toughness with that kid. And he's not going to say a whole lot of words, but there is not a person in this program that ever questions if he's mentally or physically ready to go. So I think you've seen production from him, but just like Issa, it's really even not about the player as much as the person and the presence.
What sort of growth have you seen from Mason Carter?
Yeah, I've talked about Mason over the spring a lot too. And I think with Mason is like he's like just teach tape guy. Every technique that we teach, every technique that we preach, like he can do it, be in the right body position. He's just smart. And I think he's like a perfect example of when like you're smart and confident in the scheme, you see it go over in the speed of play.
How about Brian Allen? Where have you seen him getting better since the spring?
Yeah, I think he is a perfect example of somebody coming in the winter, trying to learn our scheme. You know, you have OTAs and things in the winter, you're trying to execute in the spring, and I think the whole staff probably felt a mental jump with him over the summer, and I think you're seeing it play out on the field right now.
With your edge rushers, you're blending, a good amount of a good mix of, transfers and guys that have been in the program a while. As a coach, how does that make your job easier or tougher, or how do you adjust to that?
Yeah, I don't know if. Certainly, I think there's a learning curve in terms of transfers from any position, trying to understand, one, just how we do things as a program, two, how we execute our defense, and then three, the fundamentals that myself, Coach Payne, and Coach Hay want. But I think at the end of the day, it's about who's in your room. Over the course of the next few years, there might be years where it's a lot of high school guys and there's not as many transfers. There might be years where it's more transfers, not as many high school guys. You can't really predict how the roster plays out. I think it's just that initial learning curve. And again, I think you can do so much with them in the offseason. I think you're starting to see the confidence in those transfers come out.